Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are reading from the book Meditation and Spiritual Life by Swami Yatiswarananda. We are currently in chapter 34, Footprints on the Sands of Time, which is all about saints from different regions of India. We are currently in the middle of the section which is titled Saints of North India, and we'll continue. We now come to the great saint of the 16th century, Tulsi Das, whose work, the Ramacharitra is the most popular and influential book in the whole of North and Central India. There is hardly a home in this part of the country which does not preserve a copy of this great work. For the last 300 years, it has shaped the moral and spiritual lives of millions and millions of people in India. It is a common sight all over North India to see groups of people listening in rapt attention to the exposition of the book by village teachers or wandering sadhus. Tulsi Das was born in AD 1532 in a Brahmin family in an obscure village in Uttar Pradesh. It is said that the boy uttered the name Rama as soon as he was born. Considering this as an ill omen, the ignorant parents abandoned the boy. He was then picked up by a saint named Narahari Das at the command of the Lord himself. Later, Tulsi paid his heart's tribute to this guru and foster parent. I salute the lotus feet of my guru, the ocean of compassion, and Hari, God, in the form of Nara, man, whose words like rays of the sun dispel the heavy darkness of overpowering delusion. He studied under another sadhu, Shesha Sanatana, for 15 years, mastering the Vedas and the Vedanta. Tulsidas married Ratnavali, who bore him a son. He was passionately fond of his wife. One day on returning home, he found that she had left for her father's place. Pining for her, he followed her to his father-in-law's place, though uninvited. When he met her there, she was annoyed at his unbecoming attachment and said, "Great is your love for this body of mine composed of bones and flesh. Had you offered half of that love to Rama, you would have been spared from worldly troubles and attained salvation." These sharp but wise words brought a new light to Tulsidas. It awakened him to the unreality of the world and worldly relations, and also to the reality of the Supreme Spirit manifest as Sri Rama. The result was that he renounced the world, and after having finished his pilgrimage to the four great holy places, Rameshwar, Dwarka, Puri, and Badrika Ashrama, he settled down at Varanasi, Banaras. He undertook some more short pilgrimages now and then, but would always return to Varanasi. Now at Varanasi, his whole soul was drawn to Sri Rama and longed for his vision. It is said that through the grace of the great Rama Bhakta Hanuman, he was blessed with several visions of the beloved of his heart. Once the Lord appeared to Tulsidas on horseback as a prince. It is said that at the blessed vision he lost all consciousness of the outer world and remained in the ecstatic state for 3 days. On another time he saw the charming form of the prince sporting on the banks of the river Sarayu with his companions. At Vrindavan, learning that Tulsidas was a devotee of Sri Rama, a bigoted worshipper of Sri Krishna told him, "The Krishna Avatara is the greatest. Rama is only a partial incarnation." Hearing this, Tulsidas replied in his imitable way, "My soul was full of love only for the son of Dasharatha, and I admired his incomparable beauty. Now that you tell me of his divinity, my love is increased 20-fold." The Lord made Tulsidas an instrument for the spread of Rama Bhakti. In due course, he realized that he who was born as the son of King Dasharatha was none other than the Supreme Spirit. His divine realizations filled him with love and sympathy for his fellow beings, and he was eager to share with all the blessings he himself received. We find evidence of this not only in certain incidents relating to his life, but especially in his works, including his immortal Ramacharita. The very circumstances leading to the composition of his second best work, Vinaya Patrika, reveal his great heart overflowing with divine love. Once a murderer came on a pilgrimage to Varanasi and cried for the love of Rama, "Give alms to me, a murderer." Hearing the name of his beloved Rama, Tulsidas called the man to his house and gave him a consecrated food and declared him purified. The orthodox Brahmins of the place questioned him as to how the murderer's sin was absolved. Tulsidas replied, "Read your own scriptures and learn about the power of the divine name." The Brahmins were not satisfied. They asked for a further proof. They all agreed that if the sacred bull of the Vishwanatha temple would eat from the hands of the murderer, they would accept Tulsidas' word. The man was taken to the temple and the bull did eat from his hands. Tulsi proved that sincere repentance made by a devotee is accepted by the Lord. A new trouble, however, arose. Kali, the embodiment of evil, threatened to devour Tulsidas. Tulsi prayed to Hanuman, who appeared to him in a dream, and advised him to file a petition to Sri Rama, the Lord of the universe, for remedying the evil, and that was the origin of the Vinaya Patrika. Following in the footsteps of his predecessor Ramananda, Tulsidas also wrote his works in Hindi for the benefit of the masses. This drew the criticism of the Sanskrit scholars. One day a Pandit who was proud of his knowledge of Sanskrit came to him and asked, "Sir, you are learned in Sanskrit. Why then do you compose an epic poem in the vulgar tongue?" Tulsidas replied, "My language in the vernacular tongue is imperfect, but it is better than the Naika Varnana, the amorous descriptions of heroines of your Sanskrit-loving Pandits." The Pandit asked for clarification. Tulsi replied, "If you find a jeweled vessel full of poison and an earthenware full of ambrosia, which will you accept and which will you refuse?" In his introduction to his famous Ramayana, Tulsidas vindicates his choice of Hindi. "I am confident of one thing, that the good will be gratified to hear me, though fools may laugh. If my homely speech and poor wit are fit subjects for laughter, let them laugh. It is no fault of mine. If they have no understanding of true devotion to the Lord, the tale will appear insipid. But to the true and pious worshippers of the Lord, the story of Raghuveer will be as sweet as honey." Once some thieves broke into Tulsidas's place and found there a guard in the form of a young man of dark complexion, with a bow and arrow in his hands. Wherever they moved, the watchman turned to them and threatened to punish them. They were terrified. Something more must have appeared to the thieves. At daybreak they came to Tulsidas and said, "Sir, who is this dark-complexioned lad of yours?" On hearing this, Tulsidas was deeply moved. He knew that the Lord himself had appeared as the watchman. He gave away all he had to them. Now the thieves themselves, having received the vision of Rama and the magnetic touch of Tulsidas, became spiritually inclined. They received instructions from the saint and lived a pure life, devoting themselves to God. Once Tulsidas took shelter in a certain home. As he was doing his cooking, the lady of the house offered him some spices, to which he replied that he had those things in his bag. Then she offered him some more things, which also he said were there. On hearing this, the lady replied, "Babaji, you have so many things in your bag. Only you have no place in it for your devoted wife." Who was the lady? She was none other than his wife, whose words had changed the course of his life. She recognized him, and although he could not, and considered her a stranger. Various other incidents reveal how divine realization was the sole object of his life and how he wished others also to strive for the same with all their body, mind, and soul. Emperor Jahangir was said to be an admirer of Tulsidas. One day he offered the saint a heavy purse. Tulsidas replied, "One who wants to perform the Lord's devotion should never seek to accumulate riches. The contemplation of money and its attendant anxieties soil the mind and render it unfit for meditation on the Lord." On another occasion, Jahangir observed, "Swamiji, our minister Birbal is very wise." Tulsidas replied, "That may be so, but if while gifted with this valuable but transient body, he does not seek to realize God, then there is none more foolish than he. To be successful in repartee as he is no sign of wisdom. Wisdom consists in the realization of the Godhead." Maharaja Man Singh and his brother and other princes used to visit the poet and honor him greatly. Once a man asked the saint why such great people came to see him in those days, while in former days none came. Dulce replied, "Once I used to beg and could not get even a cracked kauri in alms. Then no one wanted me. But Rama, the cherisher of the poor, made me of great price. Previously I used to beg from door to door for alms. Now even kings worship my feet. Then it was without Rama. Now Rama is my helper." Some of the incidents and songs have been taken from Banke Bihari, the Minstrels of God, published by Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. In his Vinaya Patrika, Tulsidas speaks of his awakening from the sleep of Maya and expresses his determination to live the spiritual life. "Up until now I have lost much and wasted life in idle pursuits. The grace of Lord Rama has aroused me from sleep. Awakened now, I shall not allow myself to be victimized by Maya, illusion. I have gained the grace of the Lord's name. I shall hold it fast to my bosom and not let it from me for a second. The beautiful form of the Lord I shall cherish in my mind. Long has this world mocked me, making me a slave of the senses. Now I shall have no more of it. I am now a bee at my Lord's lotus feet, and shall not allow my mind to leave the enjoyment of their nectar for a moment." In another remarkable prayer, he expresses his great faith in the divine name. "O Lord, let anyone accept any sadhana. He is free to follow its pursuit. But to me your name is the grantor of all boons, karma, upasana, jnana. The various paths outlined in the Vedas for the emancipation of the soul, all are good, but I seek only one shelter, and that is your name. I seek nothing besides. I have enjoyed the sweetness of your name. It is the fulfiller of my wishes here and in the world to come." A man may have his affection riveted anywhere, as also his faith, but I recognize my relationship with the name Rama. It is my father and mother. I swear by Shankara and state the truth without hiding it, that Tulsidas sees all good accruing to him only by repeating your name. Tulsidas gives expression to pure devotion when he prays, "O Lord, who is there besides you who will hear my cry? Strange is my petition. A poor man I seek to become a king. From time immemorial I have suffered the tortures of hell and have lived through many low births. But I crave not for wealth or even salvation, though I know that you can confer all these. What I desire is to become in every birth a toy for you to play with, or a stone to touch your feet." We now come to Tulsidas's famous Ramacharita Manas. It is not just a translation of Valmiki's Ramayana, though it is based on their great work. It is more akin to Adhyatma Ramayana, which is highly devotional in its trend. In the Ramacharita Manas, Shiva himself narrates the story of Rama to his consort Parvati. Manasarovar is a great lake in the region of Mount Kailash, the abode of Shiva. Ramacharita, the story of Rama, is a lake conceived in the mind of Shiva. The lake at first remained hidden in the mind of Shiva until Parvati, through her question about the real nature of Rama, made it flow for the good of mankind. Tulsidas, the author, has embodied in his Ramayana, besides the story of Rama, translations of important texts of the Upanishads, the Gita, the Bhagavatam, and other scriptures, thereby making the great truths hidden in Sanskrit available to the Hindi knowing people, to the masses and the higher classes alike. Believed to be an incarnation of Valmiki, Tulsidas surpasses Valmiki at many places in the depth of true devotion and human touches. Ramcharitammanas begins with a dialogue between Shiva and Parvati. Parvati asks, O Lord, sages who are the knowers of truth say that Rama is Brahman without origin. Is he the same Rama who is the son of Dasharatha, the king of Ayodhya? Or is he some other unborn, unqualified, and indivisible being? If he is the king's son, how can he be Brahman? Shiva replies, there is no difference between the qualified and unqualified Brahman. He who is unqualified, formless, and invisible takes form through the love of his devotees. To Tulsidas, the Supreme Spirit who took the form of Rama is manifest everywhere. In the Balakanda, he says, knowing all conscious and unconscious beings in the world to be full of Rama, with folded hands, I salute the lotus feet of all. Tulsidas declares, the Jiva is a part of God and is indestructible. It is consciousness pure and blissful by nature. It has fallen under the control of Maya, and is tied down like a parrot or a monkey. The proud Jiva is under the control of Maya, and Maya, the repository of all qualities, is controlled by God. Which is the path that the Jiva should follow? Like a true devotee, Tulsidas has his preference for bhakti. The path of knowledge is like the sharp edge of a sword. One can fall from this path in the twinkling of an eye. But ignorance, the root of the round of birth and death, is destroyed through bhakti without much effort. The chief spiritual practice, according to Tulsidas, is the repetition of the divine name. The Lord's name, Rama, fulfills all the desires and aspirations of the devotees in this iron age. It destroys the direst evil and turns poison into nectar. He says, I salute the name of Rama, which is like Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and the soul of the Vedas, and without parallel. The final step in the path of bhakti is the soul's self-surrender to the Supreme Spirit, the soul of all souls. We ordinary people make the ego the center of our life, thoughts and activities. The devotee, on the other hand, makes God the center. He offers himself, body, mind, and soul, to the Supreme Spirit. As the ego dies, God reveals himself and makes the devotee realize his eternal relation to him. As a devotee, he is the humble servant of the Lord. As a soul, he is an eternal portion of the Supreme Being. This is what exactly had happened to Tulsidas also. He realized that he who was the son of Dasharatha was none other than the self of all beings. Unlike the other great religious leaders like Ramananda, Kabir, or Nanak, Tulsidas did not found a new sect. His greatest achievements were to project the personality of Sri Rama as the supreme ideal, to infuse in the Hindus a new faith and optimism, and achieve the emotional integration of a king which had been split into innumerable castes and weakened by repeated Mohammedan conquest. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.